And so a cigar to me represents connection, time to connect. There's so many negative things to weed, it's unbelievable. Everyone can smoke. You want to smoke weed? Smoke weed. Ask anyone about doing psilocybin mushrooms. That Johns Hopkins University has an entire university wing dedicated to researching the benefits of PTSD, alcoholism on psilocybin mushrooms. But you want to do that? That's illegal. You want to smoke marijuana, which has been proven to reduce your IQ points by 10 points if you smoke before your frontal cortex has been developed by the age of 25, for the permanence of your life, you can smoke marijuana. I'm at the point now, basically, if my prime minister stood up and said, I want you to drink more water, I would drink less water to find out if it was beneficial. That's how skeptical I am of everything. And that's the conversation that we're at right now in the world. And that's why I started my YouTube channel, because I need to help people like my parents who, like your parents, have done a good job, done the right thing, now need to understand that if they want the legacy that they worked for to matter in 30 years, they need to adapt which battery they've been using. Because they've been using the battery of real estate, but it's no longer sufficient. The house that my dad and his family bought first in London, when they first got there, after they got kicked out of Africa, that house, if it had the same price increase from the day they bought it to now, over the next 30 years, 40 years, that house would be 56 million pounds. That's not going to happen.
Never.
So property, the juice has been squeezed out of it in most cases. Colombia might be different because it's a growing economy. I'm talking about London.
Yeah.
So you have to analyze each battery and you have to go, okay, so what makes the most sense? And I just think a battery where the supply lever is completely fixed makes more sense than anything else.
And it's perfect to explain also that people sometimes look at these cryptos and these Bitcoin as, okay, I bought it in 10,000 and now it's 20,000. So now I earn, I want all this money. So let me change it to fiat.
Yeah.
That is like Colombian pesos, dollars, or euros, or pounds. So how do people start looking at Bitcoin as they look blackjack or a casino? How they understand that it's not about that right now it's at 42,000, right? It's not about in I don't know, 6 months it's gonna be at 70 or 80, but it's about hodling. Is hodling or hodling?
Hodl.
It's about hodl.
Yeah.
Like, what's that concept of hodl? Like, not the I bought it at 1,000, now it's at 40. Let me sell. Why people need to hodl forever, like you're gonna do?
Imagine if all of the property on Earth was going to be built in the land space of Miami. Right? Yeah. Miami is a small place compared to the rest of the United States. Just in Miami. Imagine if all of the properties ever going to be built are going to be built in Miami. Do you want to own a property in Miami, or do you want to own the land that property is going to be built on? You want to own the land.
Yeah, of course.
Because if somebody ever knocks that property down, someone else is going to want to build there, and then you're going to get paid for somebody building on it again and again and again and again. That's what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is the first time you have the opportunity to own something absolutely scarce and finite. We have never seen this ever before in human history. Something that actually has a limit and can scale to everyone. That's very unique. Never seen it before. And therefore, the value of actually owning it is more important than whatever you can trade it into. As long as the adoption continues to grow, which is where I'm coming in with my YouTube channel to explain to people who have been in real estate. Real estate is a high adoption asset. Everyone needs a house, right? So real estate is adopted at this point. It's getting more and more adopted, and it's at a good pace of adoption. It's flattened out and it's good. Bitcoin's growing through that adoption curve. And so that's why you want to hodl, because you don't know what it's going to turn into. You might be the one person out of 100 that is really good at trading. And that's cool. I'm not. I know I'm not good at trading. I don't have the personality for it. You might be the one person out of 100 that's good at trading and making a profit today and tomorrow and the next day for the next 15 years. Most people aren't. And if you were that good, you ain't watching this YouTube channel. You're not watching this video.
Yep.
Because you're too busy. You're not watching this. So if you are watching this, you are not a good trader. And the likelihood, based on all the data that's ever been studied around trading, you're not going to be. You might be good for 3 months.
Yep.
You might be good for 6 months.
In a demo account.
And then one day is going to come along and it's going to wipe away 6 months of your profits. Because most people are not good traders. Emotion gets the better of us.
It's like gambling. You're gambling.
The majority of the traders are coach in trading. So they are millionaires in that because they are coaches.
Like they're making profit out of coaching people how to do it, but are they really doing enough money to be saying like this is the best way to do it?
They might be, but you know, I had a business that would help people understand how to cash flow gold. When I was in gold, I had a business that told people, okay, so you can, instead of buying gold in a physical form, you can buy it in an ETF, and you can cash flow. You can generate 2% a month owning gold. The second I stopped owning gold, I stopped that business. But the problem with the education space is, and I know a lot of these people, the problem is that they stop making money, but they continue selling the education.
Yep.
And that's never sat right with me, but it is what it is.
So it's important also because it's pretty unique that you've done the main two. You've done property, you've done gold.
And stocks.
And stock. That's the big three.
And
See?
Bitcoin.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying in terms of before, you've done it all. And now you saying, nah, wait, Bitcoin. It is what it is, where it's at.
Yeah, I love the pursuit of being right.
Yep.
And I thought Bitcoin was a scam.
Yeah, tell me that story, please. We need people to know this.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Bitcoin was a scam. Every person I would speak to, every one of my friends, every person that I respected told me Bitcoin's a scam.
Because you were in finance.
Yeah.
So you were...
Stocks, gold, real estate. So everyone thought it was a scam. In 2017, you know, I was sitting with my best friend Deep at a cigar lounge in London.
Shout out Deep.
And, shout out Deep. And we each bought, because we were like, this thing's a scam. This is going to... It was going up. So we
It
were
was
like...
just a laugh.
Yeah.
We were cigar launch, right?
Right. So we bought 20 Bitcoin each. Each.
So 40 in total.
40 in total, right?
So we're talking about coins. 40 coins.
Yeah.
Shit.
And we waited 2 weeks. We were back smoking there because we smoked there every Monday. And the price had doubled. This was like in the 2016, 2017 run. And we were like, hey, we just paid for cigars for a while. Let's sell. We sold all our coins.
Oh, shit, bro.
Sold all our coins.
How would that be right now?
I'll tell you right now.
Oh, my God. You think you'll be here?
Yeah. Because that's the difference with me. I don't have to earn a single penny to record a video. I can make a video to help the people that I want to help for the next 8 years, every day, day in, day out, without earning a single penny. And it doesn't affect me. That's what Bitcoin has been missing, and I'm glad that there's more people that are coming into it that also have that energy too. But yeah, if it was
40 and 40, 4,200.
It's $1.8 million
1.8
today,
million
right now.
Let that sink in. $1.8 million.
$600K each.
And at that point, you sell it at what?
Sorry, $900K each.
In that point, you sell it at what? Like, how much was it when you both selling that point?
Well, I don't know, 15 G's, something like that.
Oh my God.
Right.
Like, those probably be the most expensive cigars ever.
Yeah.
The one that
No, well, maybe.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
I think they are, bro. 1.8. You probably smoke what? 50? Both each? 25 each? For 1.8 billion? Come on.
Yeah, listen, I'm not saying I'm always right, but I like pursuing being right. So anyway, like after that, you know, I thought it was a scam. It went up to 20. I'm like, what? What's going on here? This is crazy. And then it crashed. And that made me go, see, I was right.
Yep.
I was right. It's a scam. Look at it crashing, right? And then the flu season that we all had for a couple years.
Yeah.
Worldwide,
The common cold.
yeah, the common cold that we all had for a couple of years showed up, and I was back in London, And a friend of mine that I really respect, old school finance guy, said, you need to get into Bitcoin. I was like, shut the fuck up. What are you talking about? This is a guy that was telling me it's a scam. And he said, we're not going to talk until you read this book. And the book was The Bitcoin Standard, which I've told you about.
Yep.
And I was walking around the park. I like listening to audiobooks. So I was listening to the book, walking around the park like a moron during flu season. And there was this one moment where the author, Saifuddin, references a phrase called stock to flow. And it was like the Matrix aligned for me. Because of my gold background, I understood what stock to flow was. And I realized that the one mistake I had made, I was looking at Bitcoin like it was a stock, when I should have been looking at Bitcoin like it was gold. And I didn't really understand that. And it was because of Saifuddin's book and his gold background that allowed him to say it in a way that made it click for me. And I remember stopping in my track. Like, I just stopped walking. I was like, oh, fuck. I fucked up. That's what I said to myself. Right at that moment, I pulled out my phone, downloaded my Coinbase application again, logged back in, wired the money, and on walking home, bought Bitcoin because it instantly made sense. But you asked, that's an interesting point, because my job at this point is to, I believe, help people that have had these moments of being right in their life. They got into property, they got into stocks, they got into business, whatever it is, built some wealth. And to just make them believe in themselves. Because they already know. I'm not talking to people that are doing this for the first time. Right? There's a lot of other people that talk to that audience, and that's great. My job is to talk to those people like our parents who were right. Because they own property. Mm-hmm. They own businesses. They have succeeded. And make them realize that was actually, that they need to reinvigorate that again. And the game isn't over. And you're not just going to ride off into the sunset because you built a property portfolio because of what's coming. So that's really my goal.
Bro, what do you think about quantum computer?
What do you mean? Like,
you didn't...
What do I think about it? Like,
yeah, what do you think about that?
Is it going to make?
Yeah, and what impact is going to make in Bitcoin? So I was searching a little bit of that, and it's dangerous for Bitcoin, I think. I'm talking about like meaning.
Here's the thing. If you had a quantum computer,
yep.
Let's go through what you could mess with. Mm-hmm. You could mess with nuclear missiles. Mm-hmm. You could mess with the entire financial system of the world. Mm-hmm. You could mess with the entire plane system of the world. You could mess with everything. So what would happen in that scenario? If we got close to a quantum computer, mm-hmm. which I don't think we're at. We're nowhere close to a real quantum computer. But if you got close to it, what would happen is people would build defenses against a quantum computer to protect the other systems. Mm-hmm. Same thing would happen to Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been attacked every single day for almost 15 years. And it's still working. Name me one other system that has been that rigorously attacked and is still working. And the beautiful thing about Bitcoin is the incentive structure, going back to the incentives, once you own Bitcoin, you want to work for Bitcoin. I don't need to set up a fucking YouTube channel. I'm allocating my time after quote unquote succeeding to working for Bitcoin as a Bitcoin marketer. Think about that. There are amazing people around the world in the Bitcoin community that understand the tech side of Bitcoin way more than I do. And they'll be working towards making sure Bitcoin is safe because of the incentives that it puts into place. Mm-hmm. Like, if you have incentives for good policing, then good policing will happen. If you have incentives for traditional values, then traditional values will happen. Bitcoin gives you incentives to protect energy. And so the energy will be protected.
One beautiful thing that I want to mention here is there's probably more than this, but confirmed there's 22,000 people in this world that know your catchphrase. But I want our audience to hear it. What is your catchphrase?
You mean the ultimate 3 rules of Bitcoin?
Ultimate 3 rules from Bitcoin. Go.
It's step number 1, you buy Bitcoin. Step number 2, you shut the fuck up. And step number 3, you get fabulously wealthy.
And what's coming after that also?
You got to get to 1 Bitcoin.
Okay, so that's where I want to get from. So why that 1 Bitcoin is important?
Everyone always asks me this, like, oh, why did you choose 1 Bitcoin? Why did you decide to, talk about 1 Bitcoin? What if I only get to 0.1 Bitcoin, 0.6 Bitcoin? Or what if I want to buy 10 Bitcoin? My role here is to just get in front of people's faces and make them realize that urgency of buying Bitcoin. And I think that 1 Bitcoin is a very, very powerful position in the world that we're creating around Bitcoin. You are at minimum 1 in 21 million people, right, in the world, in history, if you own 1 Bitcoin. So I think everyone should pursue the ownership of 1 Bitcoin. Whether you get there or not, that's not up to me. If you can do more, then I think you should do more. But I think 1 Bitcoin is a good North Star for most people and for me to communicate.
I'll get there soon then.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll get there soon, brother. Brother, so I think we
But let's talk about, like, your example, right? What we were talking about. You understood the value of Bitcoin as a battery really well. Yeah. Because on the fight that I sponsored you and sponsored you in Bitcoin, I said, don't ever sell this fucking Bitcoin.
So let me explain that.
Yeah,
right?
go for it.
Let me give you like a background of that. So, should I give it in Spanish better? I'll do it in Spanish better. Cuando yo iba a tener, that was my second professional fight, right?
I think so, yeah.
Iba a tener mi segunda pelea profesional. Yo soy entrenador de boxeo de Minesh. Estábamos hablando...
British Hodl.
British Hodl. British Hodl. El Hodl británico. Así que cuando yo iba a tener mi segunda pelea, estábamos en una conversación acerca de cuánto me pagan a mí, cuánto pagan aquí en Colombia por una pelea, patrocinios y demás. Y él me dijo un punto muy claro, me dijo, ese millón de pesos o lo que sea que te van a pagar, en 5 años no va a valer absolutamente nada. En 5 años ese millón de pesos va a representar lo que representa ahora 100,000 pesos. O sea, no conserva tu energía. Mientras estábamos hablando, él me dijo, me gustaría ayudarte. No porque mi plataforma le fuera algo, porque vuelvo y repito, él hace el tema del Bitcoin por esa pasión que siente hacia ayudar a las personas. Pero entonces me dijo, me encantaría ayudarte, te voy a patrocinar con X cantidad en Bitcoin, pero solo hay una regla. You buy Bitcoin, you shut the fuck up. Me dio el Bitcoin y me dijo, pero jamás lo puedes vender. Uno, para mí, al principio, es una responsabilidad porque es mi palabra. Si él me pide a mí, te voy a ayudar con eso, pero no hagas X, yo voy a cumplir con esa palabra, porque él me dijo eso. Pero a partir de ahí comencé a entender por qué. No era porque él quería simplemente decir que yo tengo Bitcoin por el resto de mi vida, sino que él quería que yo mantuviera esa energía que yo me gané en ese momento al pelear. Dentro de 10 años yo pudiera ver esa energía, el doble, el triple, el cuádruple, que represente lo que en realidad debería representar, como lo explicó con respecto a la propiedad. So, now that I explained, you sponsored me for that fight. With Bitcoin, you told me you don't sell this. Why you told me that?
Because as a fighter, what you are doing is your job is to get punched in the face and to punch other people in the face. And with Bitcoin, what happens is that energy that you expended is now going to be worth whatever % more in the future. So the work that you did on that day, you're now paid for 3 times more. I don't know how much it's gone up by at this point.
Probably, we can say almost 100%.
Yeah.
Almost 100%.
So think about that. You double the value of getting punched and punching that guy in the face and choking him out. Right?
But
and you've never punched him since then.
Yep.
That's what it's about.
And that's what Bitcoin is important for. Young people, old people, for everyone.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about Bitcoin as well, because no matter who you are, if you understand Bitcoin and you have a good message, you're important. You're important. Right? So I speak to a certain group of people that I focus on. But not everyone has to care about that. And the beautiful thing about it is, unlike when I was talking about real estate, gold, and stocks, anything I say for someone who is worth, $1 million is also relevant to someone who is worth $1,000. It's all relevant because it's the first time in history that somebody who is new into the world and working and this, that, and the other can buy the same asset as someone who's a millionaire or a billionaire.
So in terms of, I think this is important also. So it's not for just the people that are rich. It's not for people that like rich in terms of fiat.
Yeah.
Everyone can get into it.
Yeah.
Even the people that earn minimum wage.
Let me put it into perspective, right?
Yeah.
If I'm going to buy a piece of gold, when I was buying gold, I'm buying gold in the big bricks, right?
Yep.
In full ounces. And in that scenario, the cost of them digging the gold, making the brick, and giving it to me, there's a cost attached to that, right? Every business has a cost. So I'm paying a premium. There's the gold value of that brick, but I'm paying a premium of around 3%, right? Maybe 1.5 to 3% to buy that brick. And it's worth it for them because they're selling all this gold to one person. If somebody who's got a job follows the gold advice and is saying, I'm going to save in gold and buy a 1 gram bar of gold on a monthly basis. I'm going to exchange $100 a month or whatever it is for that little bar of gold. They're paying a 40 to 60% premium on that gold. So I'm buying gold and I'm paying a 1 to 3% premium. The normal person, the poor person, is buying gold to try and save for the future and is paying 40 to 60% premium, which means they're handing over $50. They're handing over $100 and getting back $50 of gold. So that means the gold price has to double for them, but it only has to go up 1 to 3% for me to be in a profit. That's just gold. Because we're not even talking about real estate yet. With real estate, it's different. With real estate, if I want to buy a building, it's going to be a different conversation, even here in Colombia now. Because if I want to buy a building, I come with resources. And resources talk. I go and want to buy the whole building. A normal person that's working wants to go buy one apartment. They're going to have a different leverage conversation. It's just going to be different. It's going to be harder. Right? I'm going to get a discount. They're not, because I'm buying the whole thing. With stocks, it's completely different. Because there's going to be venture capitalists that have their hands in those stocks before the company is listed in the public markets. There's going to be people that offer financing to those companies and get preferred share prices. So in every asset, what the rich can do, the poor were not able to do. Except Bitcoin. Because whether the rich person is buying Bitcoin at a premium of 0.5 to 1%, the poor person can still buy Bitcoin at a premium of 2.9%. It's the first time in human history. And you can buy $50 of Bitcoin or $50 million of Bitcoin. Doesn't matter.
I think that's one of the biggest, because I never seen it like that. We haven't talked exactly about what it represents for rich and poor and for poor. But I think that's one of the biggest things that we can talk right now about it. Because again, people look at investment as I can just invest if I'm rich or if I have this amount of money that I can put into something, right? But we're talking about even the maid, even a waitress can get into Bitcoin and still profit from it and still keep that energy. Not even profit. We are not talking just about profit, but keep that energy safe in an asset that it can be a little less for you if you buy 50 million, but will still benefit me by having a minimum wage.
Yep.
That's amazing.
It's cool, right? That's the unique thing about Bitcoin. Because with property, if you've only got $50,000, okay, let's use the example for Colombia. Let's say you got $10,000. You can't just go buy 1 bedroom of a house. You have to buy the whole house.
Yeah.
So what happens with property is a normal person that's working a job saves up for 10, 15, 20 years to buy a house. But by the time they do that, thinking that property prices are not going to go up, what happens by the time they get there? The property price has doubled. So now you're poor and you're holding in cash. The value of that cash has gone down 50% and the house has obviously gone up.
Because they printed money.
So that's what Bitcoin solves. Bitcoin is the world's best savings technology. It's not really an investing technology. It's a savings technology. That's what real estate is trying to be used for. That's what gold is trying to be used for. That's what stocks are trying to be used for. People are not really investing. They're saving. They're trying to save their energy in a battery that makes sense. Bitcoin is just the battery that makes the most sense.
¿Quieres añadir algo a eso? ¿Quieres
In one moment,
Okay, nothing happened.
we're
We
back,
went to the
we're back.
bathroom.
Yeah,
We went to
we're
the bathroom. Nothing happened. Everything's cool.
bro, my question is, in what moment you think that is important use your Bitcoins? So, of course, you're doing money. You can spend your money in parts and then save in Bitcoin. In what moment you think that is really important take that Bitcoins?
That's a tough question because it depends on each person. Like if my family had a health issue right now, someone in my family had a health issue, I wouldn't think about the Bitcoin. I would just spend the Bitcoin and make them good again, hopefully, right? So there's those emergency situations.
Okay.
And other than that, it's really just about what do you need to spend on? That's really a personal question that everyone has to answer for themselves. You own the hardest asset humanity has ever created. What else do you want to buy? Because that's really the question. It's not about when do I use the Bitcoin? It's what do you want to exchange the Bitcoin for?
Okay.
There's not much answers to it.
What's worth more than the Bitcoin?
Yeah, than your family or whatever.
Do you want to buy a car? Well, what's the car going to give you?
Yeah.
Because for some people, if they're a musician, for example, at some point, if they can spend half a Bitcoin on a car, that musician might be able to use that car in marketing and elevate their career and this, that, and the other, right? But that's a personal conversation you need to have with someone that understands the trajectory of Bitcoin, understands like what's going on, that can actually help you think through whether this is a smart decision or not.
So maybe someone like British Hodl would be a
maybe,
good person
but you
to
know,
talk.
yeah, it just depends. Like someone that you can actually have a conversation with to say, right, what. No decision is ever final. Every decision either moves you forward or takes you backwards. It's not like static. There's no static decision making. So if you sell your Bitcoin and buy a car, the question is that car going to help you grow at the same pace that Bitcoin was helping you grow or not?
So you're gonna die holding Bitcoins?
No.
I hope I don't die holding Bitcoin. I hope I die with my children and my estate and my family having the resources that they need set up to continue growing, you know, the last name and the legacy of whatever they want to turn the legacy into.
I hate you because you literally steal my last question because I want to be.
I thought we were about to light up some more cigars.
Oh, let's do it. Oh, come on, give me more cigars.
You gotta right there, help
do it.
yourself.
But I truly wanted to ask you this question, and you just mentioned it, so that's why I say I hate you. Although I don't hate you, fucking love you, bro. But what would you like to be your legacy? Because you talk now, I like literally was thinking about it, and then you mentioned. I'm like, come on, bro. Why you stealing my questions? But of course, your legacy. We talk about kids. We talk about states. We talk about wife. But for the world, because we talk about the 4%, or it was the 10%. Yeah, we talk about the 10%, the 4%, whatever. You want to be, or you're in the trajectory to be part of that percentage. So, what would you like to be your biggest impact in this world as a whole?
That's a deep question.
As I like it, bro. That's how I am.
You like it deep?
Questions. Come on, bro. No homo.
This just turned into a very, very flag-friendly podcast.
A very peculiar. Because we're into our second cigar, so
Yeah, it's a flag-friendly episode now. Whatever flag that you're carrying. I think legacy to me is for me. Legacy is selfish. I don't think anyone should be thinking about legacy going, oh, the world is that. Legacy is always selfish because no one's going to give a shit about you in 3 generations.
Yep. Or maybe they do.
Maybe they'll care about your last name.
Yeah.
Because that can live beyond you, but they're not really going to care about you. Right? I don't think the Rothschild great-grandchildren are sitting there going, oh my God, thanks to this one person, this, that. No, I don't think they're doing that.
I think they are.
I don't think so.
Why?
Because I just don't, I've never seen legacies like that. Ever.
Ever?
Yeah, it might not be 3 generations, right? Because your culture and my culture is different. We actually emphasize, the family lineage and this, that, and the other. We study that and we're taught about it. But I don't think in most cultures that's how it works, especially now. So 4 generations, 5 generations, very, very quickly, who you are is irrelevant. So then the question is, what do you want it to mean? What do you want it to actually mean? And for me, I don't have anything like, okay, like Elon Musk, like I got to get humanity onto Mars and this, that, and I don't have any of that. For me, I want to continue and leave the legacy of the importance of being right.
Ooh, the importance.
Right? The importance of continuing to be right. Because a lot of people will do a lot of businesses, investments, and this, that, and the other with no regard to the importance of being right, which means they're not afraid of being wrong. And I'm not saying everyone's got to operate through life like, oh, I'm afraid of being wrong all the time. I'm not saying that. But you have to realize that being right is the asset.
Could you explain a little bit that deeper? Being right is the asset.
Yeah,
why?
because the only reason there is any respect for the Rothschild name is because they were right for 4 generations. Right? Whether it was the granddad, the great-granddad, the father, the young children, the grandchildren, whatever, they made decisions to allow them to continue being right about investments, about businesses, about all of that. No one ever went and did something so creative that put the Rothschild name at risk. And if they did, it was so small no one even remembers it. That's how you take risks. If you're right and you want to pursue being right, it's going to give you a result and it's going to carry that last name forward. If you're wrong, you can quickly forget about it. No one wants to be the guy that is remembered for being wrong. Who is remembered for being wrong? Name one person that actually is remembered today for being wrong and screwing up their life. No one cares. It might be entertaining on TikTok for 30 seconds, but no one gives a shit. You're irrelevant if you're wrong.
Maybe in the future when they talk about COVID, they will talk about who was in the wrong.
They will only talk about the people that were right, about what it truly was.
The common cold.
No one cares about who's wrong. No one gives a shit about who was wrong. You have to stay right forever and ever and ever. And so for me, the most proudest legacy I'll leave is a foundation for the people that come after me that carry my last name, and for anyone else who wants to join the mission, right, through anything else that I do, the ancillary people that join that mission will be the ability to pursue being right.
I need a clickbait, right? So I'm going to ask a clickbait. So I'm going to ask you a clickbaity question.
Oh, shit.
Why is it that the UK is better than the US?
Why is the UK better than the US?
Yep.
First of all, we understand sarcasm.
So first of all, we are smart.
I didn't say that.
Basically.
I love America. I love America. I really wanted to move to America when I was a kid.
And why not anymore?
Just when I was a kid.
Why not anymore, bro?
Because
the land of the free. Come on.
The world has the world has gotten a lot bigger, and if you cannot be free truly, then you need to decide which game you want to play in. And I don't want to play in the American game. Now, what does that mean? I don't mean the American game in terms of its capital markets. Still got the best capital markets in the world. I don't mean when it comes to business. Still got the best business in the world. I mean the culture of the majority. I don't want to play in that game. I never have. I never will. And the beautiful thing about when you get to where I'm at is that when I am flying around the world, I meet the same people everywhere. Successful people in the USA are the same as successful people in Indonesia, are the same as the successful people in Colombia.
When you say same, in what terms?
On focus, on values, on philosophies, everyone's the same. These guys might drink more. These guys might party more. These guys might be more religious, but they're all the same. So that's the one benefit of me growing up in the United Kingdom, because the UK has a very, very interesting culture. Because no matter where you take British culture, British mannerisms, British way of talking, British education, because we controlled half of the entire world from an island, right? I love it when Americans talk about the current state of the American empire, and America's done wonders for the world, right? The American empire has done wonders for the world. But the British Empire was ran from an island that could have been attacked from any direction. There's sea in all directions. And it wasn't taken down until it died from the inside. That's inspiring. So the beautiful thing about growing up in the UK is that the education I received from the UK and being born in the UK and having the good blessings to be born in the UK is that everything that I was taught, the mannerisms, the way to talk to people, how to be polite, how to have a conversation, how to use sarcasm, how to communicate, works everywhere in the world. I know people that are in America that will come to the UK and it just doesn't work, right? Like something is just missing. You guys call it like the chispa. Like it's just not there, right? You see guys that grew up in China, again, extremely wealthy, great education in China, blah, blah, blah. And they come over to the UK and just like something's, I don't know, like the suave is just missing. You put any British person that has the ability to have that communication in any part of the world in a group of people that are successful, they'll be able to get on with them. That's the unique thing about the United Kingdom.
What is the real English? Where is the real English? It's from the US? And that's a dumb question, but I just need that.
It's called English.
Yeah, no, I know it's a dumb question, but I just need a controversial.
It's
answer.
called English, so you know.
You're not yourself.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, I don't even need to answer that. It's called English for a reason, right? They're lucky we gave it to them after those traitors left us for two. You know how the U.S. became independent? They argued over a 2% tax, and now they're waving flags while they've got, stupid flags, by the way, not the American flag, which I wish more people would wave, just like I wish more people would wave the British flag. Yeah. Now they're waving flags over degeneracy while they're getting taxed 50, 60, 70% of their income. And the America was born fighting over a 2% tax. On tea. 2% tax on tea.
On tea.
Yeah.
So that's why America's American now, and not what would they call it? A land, colony of the UK.
That's right.
For tea.
For a 2% tea tax. That was the value of America. That was the value of the American spirit, right? The best culture, in my opinion, was old American spirit, entrepreneurial, go out and conquer shit spirit, mixed with British values, which is what it was for so long. Right? That was the best of America. That's what created this world that we live in, the amount of amazing things that America... Now, everyone's going to talk about all the bad things that these empires have done, and I accept that. There's obviously going to be bad things that empires do. But overall, the British Empire created more prosperity in every part of the world than any other empire before it. Right? We lifted... I'm Indian. My mom's from India. Right? And everyone tells me, when I'm joking with my family members, like, cricket is a big sport for Indians. And they would say, who would you support, England or India, when it's a cricket match? And I'm like, I support England. Because that's where I was born. That's where I got all my opportunities. And if I went to India with my British passport and overstayed my visa welcome, doesn't matter that my mum's Indian or my skin's brown, they're still going to arrest me and deport me back to the United Kingdom.
Where you're from.
Exactly.
Can we have a peace break, please? I'll be hodling.
You've been hodling it?
I'll be hodling.
Let's have a piss break.
Let's have a piss break. So we're not back from the piss break. I wanted to ask you because I see this trend and it's going on lately of people traveling to Dubai, people that have the means go to Dubai, to all these places. And of course, there's a lot of people that come to Colombia. But why Colombia? Like, why you came here? Like, what was the first thing that sparked you to come here?
You want the truth?
I want the truth.
Yeah.
We want the truth. They want the truth.
So, I came first to Colombia 6 years ago. And I live not just in Colombia, right? As you know, but for everyone, like, I live between London, Colombia, and Dubai. And the first time I came to Colombia, I was heartbroken in London.
Okay.
I just broken up with my girlfriend at the time. I used to live in Asia. And I was being, which the accurate term for it is a little bitch.
Thank you.
In London. And a friend of mine from Chicago who used to live here said, hey, stop being a little bitch in London and come to Colombia. And so I came here for the first time. Didn't speak a word of Spanish. Still don't. And
Suave.
yeah, I still don't. And hated it.
You hated it.
Hated it.
First.
Hated every single second of my trip here.
Wow.
I hated the climate. I hated the culture. I hated the people. I hated
What you
the
mean
food.
by the climate? You came
Well,
from
yeah.
fucking London.
Yeah.
So
What you mean?
You
Hated it.
You were here in Medellin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hated it. I was here for a month. I changed my trip to 3 weeks and went back. Hated every second of it. And then maybe a few months later, I was, resolving my heartbreak. And I realized that maybe it wasn't Colombia. Maybe it was me projecting what I was feeling at the time onto Colombia. So anyway, my friend was here again because he was living here part-time at the time. And I came back. And it was almost instant. The second time I came back, I fell in love with the place. I fell in love with particularly Medellin. The climate was beautiful. It's just perfect all year round.
Just the climate, right? That's the only beautiful thing,
Of
right?
course, the women are beautiful too. But, there's beautiful women everywhere in the world.
Yeah, that's
right. There's beautiful women everywhere in the world. But the climate it's just perfect all year round. Maybe there's a month and a half where it's like a little bit more rainy, but the rain here is beautiful too. It just rains hard for an hour and a half and then it's over, right? So yeah, I love the climate. I love the people. I love everything that I hated. I started loving instantly the second time. And so I decided to make it part of my rotation of places to be. And yeah, as I've spent more years here, got more friends here, like it's a really nice place to be with a lot of potential. There's also negatives to it too, which you have to be aware of. If I was married with children, would I want to be here? Probably not.
What?
I think that I would like my kids to have the similar type of upbringing that I had, where they learn things in a way which that can adapt to the rest of the world.
And you think in those terms, the UK is the only place that they can simulate that, or which other
No,
place
but
would you
what I
suggest?
mean is, like, I wouldn't be here permanently. Not even that I'm here permanently right now, but I wouldn't spend as much time as I'm spending right now here.
But let's say for your kids, right? What would be like a good place for the things you mentioned right now?
So I think my kids need to experience multiple cultures because the world's getting smaller and smaller. The fact that I'm here in Colombia, right? Me, first person in my family to actually go and live in another country and this, that, and the other. I think that's what's happening. It's speeding up because now you can earn money from anywhere that you want to be. And of course, with people like Andrew Tate talking about, living in Romania and all these other places, like, and actually becoming successful at the peak of his success in a different country to the one that he was born in, it sends a nice message that you can do that. So, but for me, I think my kids need to experience different cultures. I want them to be comfortable, completely comfortable in Colombia, completely comfortable in London, completely comfortable in Dubai, completely comfortable in Singapore, and I want them to learn how to adapt to the different cultures, because that's what I think is going to be a big asset in the future.
So it's not just about going to one country, but you will show them different
Yeah.
cultures and fly them out to
Yeah,
different places.
and that's tough, but I think that's important.
Stuff
It's
to
tough, yeah.
to travel while you're a kid, or what's stuff?
No, because money fixes a lot of problems. But I think what's tough is for me, what was tough is having that constant instability, right? Because I started obviously working when I was 16. I started traveling when I was 18. So even though I was younger, but I wasn't traveling to like go take a spiritual break. I was traveling to go get money. So I would travel from London to Hawaii, and people would go to Hawaii and go on their fucking nature trails, and I was going there to get money. So what I also learned is that a lot of the world is exactly the same as a lot of the rest of the world, too, when it comes to real things. There's going to be differences in culture, there's going to be differences in food, differences in people, but besides that, most of the world, when you're actually doing something of value, is exactly the same anywhere in the world. And so the question is where is most beneficial for you? Where do you feel the best? And then just get to work.
So you're considered, quote unquote, by everyone in Colombia, a gringo, right? Even if you're
I don't agree with that.
I know.
I don't
But
agree with that.
I know
Why
you
don't
don't.
I agree with that? You know this, right?
Yeah, of course.
Because the gringos is for Americans.
Yeah.
And I'm a Brit.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. But for almost the majority
I'm
of
a-
this country don't talk English, so they wouldn't even know.
I'm an extranjero.
Yeah, but they wouldn't even know, right?
Do you know how many times have someone's asked me, like, where you from? And I say London, and they go, oh, Francia.
What?
Because they're mistaking London for Paris.
Yeah, it's the education, but that's what I mean. If they hear you talking English just by one word, let's say you say hello, that's the only word they understand, right? They would say gringo. Like that would be the first thing. You know, that's almost.
Yeah, you speak English, you're gringo.
Yeah.
Yep.
How is it that in this extremely dangerous country, super dangerous, that it's so bad, how is it that you haven't got robbed? You haven't had a problem with ladies in terms of what's going on lately, supposedly? How a gringo, that you're not, of course, but how a gringo can come here and be safe? I think it's
It
important
sounds
because
really simple to me.
I
but-
know because you done it the right way, but and I think about this question not for you, but again for the people that are listening to this, because there's a lot of people that come here for the wrong reasons. That's the main thing. If they come here for the wrong reasons, they're gonna get fucked up. But how someone that is listening to this and is smart, how they come here and not have any problem?
Number one, I don't do things that get me into problems. I'm not out partying. I don't drink alcohol. I don't do drugs. I'm not out stupid places. I very much carefully monitor who I'm spending time with, as you both
Yep.
know. You know,
Yep.
and I do that at all times. I'm also very, very happy with being comfortable in my environment.
Yep.
So what I mean by that is I know exactly most of the places that I go to, I've been before. They know me, I know them. I know exactly what the setup is. I know exactly what's going on. I move with that comfort.
Yep.
And I don't take risks. I know I'm in a different country. I know I'm not in the UK. But then again, I grew up in East London. So there's a little bit of street smarts that comes with that than the average person that grew up in a...
New York.
Yeah, just assuming everyone's nice and this, that. Yeah, well, New York's different. New York
Yeah,
would
New
be
York's
more like
hard.
London,
Yeah,
you know? But yeah, like, I just don't do stupid shit. I don't understand half of these stories. Like when you realize half of these stories, they're walking around with gold Rolexes on their wrists. Like you walk around with a gold Rolex in London, you're at risk. And it's not just Colombia.
It's like 90% of the world. Like there's like 1%. Maybe you go
Exactly.
to Dubai and it doesn't happen, but maybe like 99% of the parts of the world, you do stupid things, you get stupid results.
Exactly.
Right? But I wanted to mention that because, for some weird reason, it's getting highlighted so much that in Colombia happens these things. But again, and this is why I mentioned it, because we're used to put the blame on everyone. Oh, we're going through this because of the government. We're going through that because my girl broke up with me, or she broke my heart because of her. Like, we never take accountability or anything. And I was saying this to Sevan in our first episode, that even if I get robbed, like, the mindset I have right now that it has to be built my whole life is, I will put the blame on me.
Yeah.
Even, like, I'm not saying that
You have to.
I robbed myself, right? But my first thought would be why I was there. I shouldn't be there showing this, or I shouldn't be there, like, giving papaya, like we say here in Colombia. You take accountability, and a lot of things start changing.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make that clear, because everyone puts the blame on the country. But if you do that thing probably in London, probably in even the how you say that, the first world countries, you will still get, like, bad results. So I wanted to point that out, because everyone puts the blame on Colombia, but they don't. Again, I'm not victim. How you say that?
Blaming.
Victim blaming. But at the same time, it's probably your fault if you search a girl in Tinder, you don't do research enough, and then you go to weird places with her, drink alcohol, then you take her back home. There's a big chance in any part of the country something. Maybe you have a big percentage that doesn't happen. Maybe you're lucky, but you're playing against those odds, right? So I wanted to make that clear, because it happens a lot. And lately, first it was because we were a drug country. First it was like Pablo Escobar. Now that we kill gringos, right? So now we kill gringos. But I wanted to make that clear that
I think, one of the beautiful things that we can. Every country has its own setup, right? And one of the beautiful things about Colombia versus London and the UK is that there is a lot of random crime in London.
yeah,
I can walk down the most wealthiest street in London and get stabbed for my watch. There's very little amounts of that here. Very little. Why? Because of the incentives.
yeah,
Because the people that are invested in Colombia want to keep Colombia safe.
Yeah.
And therefore, there is a strict rule that if you cause trouble in the environments that we tell you not to cause trouble in, it will be taken care of.
yeah,
But outside of the police,
yeah.
right?
That's another thing is worth mentioning also here that people don't understand. Here, there's a like you said, there's the incentive from people to don't allow that things happen to people, because they're protecting something bigger. So if you're stealing from people, if you're doing this and doing that, there's probably gonna be a big consequence. If you don't, I don't know, if you're not a fucking huge drug lord or something like that, there's gonna be a consequence for the things that you do here, and not for the police. Because again, that would be one of the only things, or that would be one of the main things that I would probably critique my country, and I truly hate that, is the justice system. Hate that about here, because you can kill someone and you can just pay like 5 years or 10 years. You can go and kill someone for stealing something, you can pay like 5 to 10 years. Like, there's not like a huge consequence for your actions in terms of the law. In terms of the other people, it is, but in terms of the law, they're not. But also, when you really think about it, in the US, if you do that, you have maximum sentence, right? Even you can even get killed by the government because you kill someone or you do armed robbery. But that hasn't stopped crime there, right? Like, there's not a lower crime because they're killing people there because of their actions. I think there's a bigger advantage of, I don't want to call for this, but like social justice than even the law justice. Because again, in the United States, they have one of the most harsh systems in terms of law, but that hasn't.
It's the highest percentage of a country's population that's in prison.
But that hasn't stopped, right? That hasn't make a big change in terms of the percentage keeps going up and up and up. So that's another subject that I don't know what we're talking about, but that's true.
Overall, when I come to Colombia, when I visit Colombia for the months that I do, I feel safe. I think Colombia is a beautiful country. I think the cities that I spend time in are absolutely beautiful. I completely respect whatever power structures are in place to keep the cities and the country in the shape that it's in. I respect the fact that I can come here and add the little value that I add to the country when it comes to the amount of economic spending that I do in the country. I love doing it. And I just, I want to support Colombia in any way that I can.
And you're doing it.
Sorry?
And you're doing it. I wanted to
appreciate
tell you that you're doing it. Like, I'm one of the most important examples of that help that you've done. But this is one thing that when we started the podcast, I wanted to do. So I'm gonna do it right now. We're gonna start because you're the first. You were the first customer of Ebano Reserve. You're the first guest in our podcast. So I wanted to know if there's a question that you would like to do to us. Something that you would like. Maybe you already know, but maybe you think, oh, this is important. People know about these guys. Put you in the spot.
No, because I actually have a few, but I'm now trying to think like which.
It doesn't have to be one, but I would like to point that out because maybe there's things that it's not that great for you to start to talk about yourself, but it's good if someone asks it and then maybe show people who we are and why this is important to listen to.
I think the main question that I have for everyone is, I mean, you two are successful in your own fields, very, very different fields, right? So what that proves is that success doesn't just happen in one place.
Yep.
Like anyone watching this can find success in whatever they want to find success in. That's the beautiful thing about the world.
Yep.
The part that I like is the dark side of it. Because I don't care what anyone says. Anyone who is successful, there is a dark side to it.
Facts.
Don't give a shit what anyone says.
Facts.
And you got to embrace that dark side.
Yeah.
I've had a year where me not embracing my dark side has cost me and taken time to learn lessons, because the dark side that allowed me to get to where I'm at has been repressed for a little bit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what demons were you two trying to say fuck you to allow you to become a successful model and to allow you to become a successful fighter?
Please do it.
No, I start you, bro.
No, you start.
Yeah.
I'm good. Start. Don't worry. Why you care about being canceled, bro? We are going to prison after this podcast. So, fuck it. Let's
Okay,
go.
so-
all guys blazing.
As you know, I don't talk a lot in English, but I'm going to try, right? So, my principal dark side was I was really alone. I'm alone person, right? So lonely. So my parents arrived at home like 8 a.m. Right? I have a sister. She's
27?
yeah, she's 27 in this moment. I'm 25, and I was really lonely. I didn't have friends. I didn't have nothing. Me, I just have me. So the thing that I did was meditating. I meditate at my 12 years old.
When I was.
When I was 12 years old, and I grew up just meditating. Maybe hasta ¿cómo se dice hasta? Until my 15 years old, right?
When I was.
Huh?
When I was.
When I was 15 years old. So for me it was really difficult talk with people, talk with friends, or cómo puedo explicar encajar
In groups?
yeah, in groups.
Yeah.
So of course you know that in schools there are groups. The group that talk in just anime, for example. That
We
talk
don't know.
just
I don't know
anime.
how it's in the UK.
Yeah, I don't know
Same
how it's in
thing.
Europe.
Yeah.
Same thing. The popular people, the otakus, like
Otakus.
groups.
Yeah.
So for me, it took 3 years to go into a group.
It took 3 years. For you
It
to
took
go.
3 years. But in this moment, I'm in all of the groups that I can, because
Everyone wants to know you now.
yeah, no, I understand how to talk with the people. I understand how I can go into that group.
Yep.
So, eso es como sociópata.
Like a sociopath.
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 So, I understand what do you have to talk with them. Why? What? How? Absolutely everything. So, that gives me the possibility to go into every group. And now, thanks God, thanks modeling, thanks the work that I did, I'm in the best fucking place in modeling stuff, right?
Yep.
Because when I start modeling, I understand every single person in front of the camera and back of the camera. So I learned how to treat the people. And that's the thing that I understand just 4 years ago. Understood 4 years ago. That's my dark side, because I was really lonely, really fucking lonely.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I thought I have ¿cómo se dice? Pensamiento suicidal.
Suicide thoughts.
Suicide thoughts. I had that, but I love the life.
Yeah.
I'm really happy, and in 4 years modeling, I'm really high in the pyramid of the modeling.
Yeah.
So I had to do like a little explanation of that to be a little more deeper in that than I know.
So hold on a second.
Yeah, don't worry.
So for you, feeling lonely was the catalyst for you to eradicate, like you had to kill that loneliness, and that's what drove you to creating success.
Yep.
And the way that you created success was modeling.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing, because when we think about, like, someone like me, right, like with this ugly face, it's like,
Come on.
I'm just like, models, like, how can they be lonely, right? Everyone wants to talk to them. If it's a girl, every guy wants to talk to them. If it's a guy, every girl wants to talk to them. And then you still have that loneliness inside. Do you think that loneliness is still there, or do you think it's finished?
It's still there,
Right.
but I love that.
Right.
So I love being with me, myself.
Yeah.
I love myself. When in whatever the moment, when I'm alone, when I'm lonely, when I'm lonely, when I'm lonely, I love to be with me,
Yeah.
because I talk to me. What are you going to do? What are you doing bad? What do you have to improve? And stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think that you have the most important thing for me is just having me. I can't lose myself. I can't lose myself. Can't.
So you managed to turn the part of you, the demon inside of you, which was started off as loneliness, into your power source.
Yeah. You can think in depression. Can gives you the motivation to go out of depression, right? You're alone. You can use that.
It's like looking at two sides of the same idea, right? It's like the front and back, or the left and right of an idea. It's the same idea, loneliness.
Yeah.
But you chose to turn that from depression and say, let me take power from this and do the positives of it.
There you go.
And most people don't do that. I think that people that are not successful are the ones that don't understand the benefits of their dark side.
Yep. Exactly.
And focus on those benefits.
So just thinking one thing. Are you happy being depressed? No. Use that. Right? But he can explain really good my history, because he lives my history.
Just think about think about like the skills you had to learn wanting to kill that loneliness. You had to learn communication. You had to learn talking to people.
Uh-huh.
You had to learn that you were actually worth
Uh-huh.
not being lonely.
Yep.
You had to learn, let's just face it, skills of manipulation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? These are all extremely valuable skills.
Yep. So in this moment, it's really hard. Someone gives me feels like I don't know how to explain. Que es muy difícil que alguien me haga sentir mal en este momento.
It's pretty difficult for someone to make him feel bad.
Yeah, because you now control it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the dark side is no longer killing you.
Yeah.
Right? That
making you
loneliness
stronger.
was your spark.
Yep.
And you took it in that direction. But so many people want to be at the effect of it. They want to just control their dark side. Oh, I shouldn't feel lonely, but I also shouldn't take the message from the loneliness that I need to do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
That's powerful, man. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, man.
And mainly because that's the thing that I wanted to explain, that you mentioned that him being a model, who wouldn't want to talk to him? Like,
Yeah.
he's pretty, but he started to realize that when he was almost 18.
Yeah.
Because his whole life was the opposite. He was fat. He wasn't confident. So, that's a big thing. Even you can be the hottest guy in the world, but if you're not confident, you're not going to be able to talk to people, but two, you're going to look a little weird.
Yeah.
Because you don't have confidence in yourself. So his main thing was that, and then I was there because he got to the point that he was able to get all those years by himself to love himself so much that he was getting to the point that, again, manipulation, right? Even with me, like, I'm his best friend now, been for a while, but he even told me once, we were talking about that deep stuff, and he's like, sometimes I think I don't even care about you or my mom or no one. Like, I care about myself and how I present myself and how people what people can give me, but I don't really care about people. It was getting to the sociopath part, right? So, but he was able to redirect her in a way that, as he is right now, that he truly cares about people. I think
Oh, yeah. I know
mainly
that.
he started with this because of that, like wanting to help people that are in that point that he was, and I think we all are here for that, to help people that was in those moments, in those dark moments, and be like, hey, maybe you can do different than what you think you can do to be able to get places like him. So what he was trying to say also with the modeling is, when he gets to those places, he was able to get people that was feeling lonely even in those places. Because when you get to a photo shoot, I don't know, the people that makes the coffee or the people, they don't need, like, models don't even greet those people. Models don't even give a fuck about the photographer or these people. He gets to a place and everyone loves him by 2 minutes in, because he understood that everyone matters. Like, not just the guy, oh, you're the owner of this company? Okay, I'm going to talk to you now. Talk to everyone.
Yeah.
Like, even the owner of the company, he's the last that he greets. He greets from the people that open up the door.
Yeah.
Everyone. He laughs with everyone, because he understood that he had to show value to every single people that he meets.
Yep.
So that was one of the main things that you said. He faced the dark side and be like, okay, now I can understand everyone's mind whenever I get to a place. Because everyone, even the hottest model, can feel lonely.
Yeah.
So if I can't feel lonely, could you imagine the people that are not noticed in a place? So I think that's one of the things he wanted to mention, because he has told me this in Spanish for a while, so that I'm being like a translator to be able, but not trying to take his shine, of course.
And remember, I was talking to you about what my mother told me. I don't give a fuck. So I arrived to the school, and immediately they bully. Immediately they bully in, you're fat, you're ugly as fuck, you're blah blah blah. So I grew up listening that to me, because I was fat. Immediately, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. That's the main thing that my mother told me, that I grew up thinking that. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, man.